how to start this video, but I guess I'm just going to go off the cuff or whatever. But I honestly just don't understand it. I don't understand anything, but I don't understand what this hype is all about. Not just life, but like a lot of things, like especially like accomplishing anything. I never understood it because I never really cared or wanted to accomplish anything. Never cared for it. Never wanted to. It's really weird because I don't know. I'm preparing for college and I basically got accepted. Not even basically. I'm literally going to get accepted into every single school I applied to. I just got accepted into a kind of a prestigious one with a 3+2, graduate program, so I can get my master's in 5 years. And they have good ass programs and whatnot. But in reality, I really could not care for it at all. I couldn't care for college at all. I couldn't care for life at all. I want to die. But of course, I cannot say that. I cannot express that thought because I don't know. I don't want to be involuntarily committed and lose all my rights. And by lose all my rights, I mean specifically losing my rights to own a firearm. And I barely have that already since I live in a really fucking gun control state. But so there's that. But of course, I can express that, but I'm just gonna pretend, because that's all I do, is I fucking pretend every single day. I pretend to be normal. I pretend to be like everyone else. Every day in school, I'm in the halls, people walk by me, they either have two thoughts in their head about me. One, they know I'm different from everyone else, I'm kind of fucking weird. Or two, they think I'm normal and I'm just like all the other uncultured little zombies that roam this planet, and I have friends, and I follow all these cultural traditions, and I love family, and I love people, and I empathize with people, and I care about people, and I want to contribute to society when I don't want to do any of that, and I don't care about any of that. Accomplishing something and having this desire, it's no different from materialism. It's just they have the common core principle, and it's just a root of deprivation. You desire this materialistic pleasure because you're deprived of it, you don't have it, and you want to accomplish something, whether it be anything. Getting a girlfriend, getting a PhD, getting a good job, fucking that one hot chick from the fucking club. Because you don't have it, you're deprived of it. I'm bringing up all those things like I could successfully say I accomplished any of those things. But I'm just saying that to make a point. I don't know. But you just got accepted into a really prestigious school. You should be happy. You should be smiling. And they give you a scholarship. They give you a $23,000 scholarship. You should be happy. You should be smiling. Yeah, I should be in a good mood. But who cares about a fucking mood? Like, I don't know. Apparently, I don't process emotions like a regular fucking humanoid. I don't know. And, my psychiatrist say, well, of course you don't. You have autism, or just most anyone that is a fucking psychology nut would say that. Well, of course, looking at your previous diagnoses, well, of course you can't. You are neurodivergent. You have autism, so of course you cannot. Well, yeah, sure. I don't know anything about any of these fucking labels anymore. Autism, bipolar, OCD, sure. Just me. I hate any label. I don't know. When I hear, and just these cultural labels, they're just placeholders, and they kind of honestly have been pissing me off lately. And that can go for anything, because anytime I look around, whether it's on surfing the internet or social media, I'm trying to not use social media anymore because I honestly fucking hate looking at human discourse and just looking at things that remind me that I'm in a world full of sentient robots. But I really really just, I really hate, because I would always see things like people talking about, I don't know, mental illnesses and shit like that, and it's just like, number one, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Number two, they're just perpetuating just a lot of just mainly just cultural rhetoric. That's it. Like, all I see would either be shit relating to those cultural labels or just shit about relationships. Because you know what the best thing in the world is relationships and pleasure and having that special someone. But what if I don't want that special someone? What if I want to be alone? What if I want to be isolated? What if I want to be in solitary confinement? Well, there must be something wrong with you then. I guess there is, sure, but I don't know, or I'm just not normal one, which is another fucking label I hate. I really hate that word. I really hate that word, normal. Because that is just a cultural abstraction, too. But I'm getting lost in my own thought. But yeah, there's no greater thing than love. That's what they always say. That's what the typical, I don't know what word to call them anymore, just most people would say. Love is a great thing. Love is really just a combination of two people's delusional behavior and delusional thought patterns. That's really all it is. Delusional coercion. Can't get any simpler than that. But apparently it's so complex. And there's different types of love. Familial love, romantic love, platonic love. But when you really think about it, it's kind of all just cultural nonsense, those labels. As if there's any differences between certain sets of delusions. Or just delusional practices. Is there really? I don't think so. Oh, I was gonna say something else before I got caught up in that shit. Pretending? I don't know, I pretend all the time. When I have a conversation with someone, even though I barely socialize, but whenever someone initiates conversation with me, I have to pretend to be like them. I think I'm decent at it. Sometimes pretty good, but sometimes I fuck up. I can't let anyone know the real me. Oh yeah, I know. I was talking about labels. Yeah, I don't know. I hate those labels. I hate any label, even names. I'd rather be nameless. I'm just like question mark or just like anything that doesn't have a. Like I couldn't even care for a name. If I had a choice, which of course I didn't, but if I did, I wouldn't assign myself a name. I'd be completely nameless. It'd be just blank. I wouldn't have a fucking name. Because even a name is just a byproduct of cultural, just what? Yeah, it's cultural labeling. That's what it is. But it's just it's always some form of culture. It's always like even your like any name, because names they have meanings. They're derived from certain aspects of a certain of any culture. It doesn't matter. I mean, I know my name is derived from a culture. I know which culture it is. I'm not going to say it because I'm just not going to reveal information about myself. But I have a really rare name. Like really rare. Like no one, at least no one in America. I really doubt anybody in America has my name first or last. Like or middle maybe. My middle name's actually more. I mean, it's not common. I mean, I'm black. I'll get that out of the way. And I come from. My parents are African immigrants, but that's all I'll say. And I know I don't sound black, but that's just because of your fucking cultural judgment. Of course, I don't sound black. I don't have a black accent. I don't talk like a black person. I mean, I do. I try to when I'm around them because I have to pretend, right? That's all I do. I can't expose myself. No one knows this about me. No one knows any of this about me. Not even my own family. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? All the shit I say on my channel. I mean, I haven't said everything, but like, if you've watched my videos, you know about. I mean, so far, no one knows that about me besides me. But I just pretend. But just Yeah, my name, it's really weird. My middle name, I mean, it's commoner. I mean, I can see some people having my middle name, but not much. But my first and my last name, definitely no one in this country in America has my first or last name. Definitely. I mean, maybe like a few, but it's like not the same in cultural interpretation. Like it's probably spelled the same, but they like name wise they have completely different meanings, and it's not from the same tribal cultural fucking nonsense that it originated from. I mean, my first name isn't even, it's just taken from another name. It's like my first name, it's like half of another name from the fucking culture that it originated from. Like my first name, it's half. It's like the second half of another name. My parents took a name from a culture they liked, and they split in half and went for the second half of that original name, and just decided to name me off that to just shorten it. They didn't want to do the full thing. Which, I mean, yeah, I prefer it like this, honestly, but still, I'd rather not have a fucking name at all. Imagine that, like, just the teacher calling attendance and it's just blank. Who's blank? Yeah, I wish. Does any fucking psychologist or psychiatrist listen to me? No, I'm not having an identity crisis. It's not about that. I can't. I don't know. Life is a really weird thing. I don't know why anyone would wish this. And I mean, yeah, back to me on my just life dynamic. I don't want to do anything. When I say that, I mean like until the day I actually stop being a coward and like I'm ready to commit suicide. Of course, I'm not, because I don't have access to firearms. But the thing is, when I talk about suicide in general, I could commit suicide any day, even without firearms. I can just go to Home Depot, get a rope, make a noose, go to my closet, hang it, and just hang myself. But I don't want to do that because I'm a fucking coward. Unfortunately, as of right now, I do not have the courage to take my own life, so I'm going to have to wait a daunting amount of time until I get access to firearms to do so, because I want it to be quick and relatively painless. So, of course, I'm admitting it right now. As of right now, I am admitting it. I am a coward. As of right now, January 10th, 2025, I'm still alive. And I have not committed suicide, and I'm a coward. But, and I don't even want to, I could talk about suicide, but I could talk about that for hours, and how it's honestly the best decision anyone could ever make. And how, of course, I can't, and how I could talk about how much I hate suicide prevention and people that just want to force people to live. And I could also talk about how I think if anybody could think, not even just think like me, but I think that most people, if they could come to the same conclusion I could, if they could realize what life is, and if they could realize how uncultured and conditioned they are, and try to actually see it for themselves. But the thing is, most of them are so conditioned to the point where it's impossible for them to even realize it. That's how deep it goes. That's how deep enculturation and just conditioning goes at all. I tried to reverse myself, or not try to decondition myself, but I think at a certain point it becomes impossible. I mean, to at least fully do so. I mean, that's my theory. If it's even possible to actually decondition yourself. If this were the case, then I'd become feral, and I'd be no different from a fucking chimpanzee or Homo sapien or Neanderthal, whatever other common ancestors I just can't pronounce. Neanderthal, that's what it is. But yeah, I don't think it's possible for a quote-unquote civilized human to decondition themselves, to reverse themselves back to their feral beginnings, no, I don't think it's possible. Because at a certain point, you have to realize, especially past like the elementary school stage, you're too far gone into the enculturation. I can realize it, but you can't reverse it. How do I know that I'm encultured? Not only because, well, everyone's delusional, but also because we all believe in the delusion of value in some way or another. We all put value on things, even though value doesn't truly exist. There is no value. Value is delusion. Value is just like religion. They are both delusions. Okay, but well, it comes to a point because like, but the thing is, it's different for children. For children, and by children I mean like young children, like prepubescent children, because that's when the conditioning and enculturation really starts. It starts in preschool and elementary school. That's when most of the conditioning and enculturation takes place, because from that point on, most of them, they won't even realize what's happening to them, but they also won't realize, I mean, we call this child raising, yes, but most of this conditioning, like people can say, oh, you know, technically any form of education, and whether it's getting knowledge or just even communication, can be seen as cultural indoctrination. Yeah, it can to a certain extent, but the most of the quote indoctrination, and I say quote because if we really do it like that, then it means that almost anything we communicate with any other person could be seen as indoctrination at that point. But truly getting knowledge and cultural indoctrination, they are close because they are perpetuated by what we see as the education system. They do both things. Yes, you can obtain knowledge, but they also do another thing, and that is cultural indoctrination. How do they do this? They do this for the most part during your preschool and elementary school years. That's when most of this conditioning takes place, not only from your parents, but also from your schools. Because guess what both do? Your parents and the teachers at your school, they impose things on you. What do they impose? They impose cultural values, which I could talk about for on and on, but this video is way too fucking long already, so I'm just going to end it right here.